Hello, my name is Jacqueline Ibarra, and I am co-manager of the AFE Corporation, and alongside me will be Megan Ortiz. Today, Megan and I will be discussing our results from the business strategy game, specifically in industry number 2. The topics we will discuss will be our strategic vision, our competitive strategy in branded footwear, as well as the strategy in private label operations. Then we will talk about our results in annual total revenues, earnings per share, and global market share. We'll do an overview of our year-end stock price and the results of our strategic planning exercise, including our plans, goals, and those results. After that, we'll cover how our competitive analysis went, and we'll conclude with the lessons learned by participating in the game. Our strategic vision was to become the industry leader in athletic footwear market by providing customers with quality and affordability and stakeholders with a product they can take pride in. Our slogan was changing the world 1 feet at a time. To be the best cost provider in the industry, we wanted to offer a higher percentage of superior materials. We decided to offer a wide variety of models beginning at 180 for the first 2 years, and then kept that number consistently high at 200 for the remainder of the years in the business. As for enhanced styling, we chose to increase our spending in this area from $2 million in year 11 to an amount between $6.4 million and $7.2 million by the time we made it to year 19. We steadily increased these expenses while decreasing our prices to fulfill our strategy of providing both quality and affordability. When it came to total quality management and Six Sigma spending, we made big increases in some of the years where we could, and in year 11, the total expenditures of all plants totaled about $3.3 million. By year 19, throughout all the plants, we were spending about $18.4 million overall on our quality programs. Our spending on compensation was kept steady until we increased it to 2 to 3% per year in the later portion of our operations. So by year 19, the Latin America plant had a consistently low reject rate, having less than half of the rejects produced by the Asia Pacific plant. Expansions and upgrades were made to ensure that production would be adequate to prevent stockouts. The Asia Pacific plant was expanded in years 12 and 13 and then again in year 16. The North America plant was upgraded in years 13 and 14, and in year 15 we built a plant in Latin America, and throughout the decisions we expanded this twice to meet our increased demand. This was also upgraded in year 16 as well. The expansions led us to bid for celebrities to boost demand so as to be able to use these plants at full capacity. And to decrease our exchange rate risk and to keep transportation costs at a minimum, we had the plants shipped to warehouses within the same region. That was, pairs manufactured in Latin America would ship to Latin America and would only send to North America if there were any excess. North America would ship exclusively to North America, and if there was any left, that plant would ship to Latin America as well. The Asia Pacific plant was the largest plant we had and would supply primarily to the regions of Asia Pacific and Europe, Africa. When there was any excess stock there in those regions and unmet demand in the Americas, that's when the Asia Pacific plant would ship overseas. As for our competitive strategy in the private label sector, we kept the usage of superior materials low and only increased this amount once because we had to utilize overtime to produce these. Any pairs to be sold on the private label market were pairs produced in excess of our projected market demand for branded footwear. Our bids were always accepted when our bid price was at least $10 below wholesale price in years 10, 11, 16, 17, and 18. Our total annual revenues increased every year, but the most growth occurred in year 15, and this was possibly due to the expansions previously discussed and the celebrity bids that were made. Because we had the lowest wholesale price in North America and Latin America and were among the lowest worldwide, we experienced a couple of stockouts. In year 16, we experienced one of the largest stockouts throughout all of the regions because we had acquired the celebrity appeal without taking into consideration how the size of the expansion would not be big enough. The biggest effect was felt in Europe overall because that's where the greatest celebrity appeal was at 90 compared to the other regions, with a shortage of 202,000 pairs in year 16.
Our earnings per share, we saw steady increases except in year 11, where we had our initial stock offering, and in year 16, where we experienced a stock out. This shortage caused a dip in our earnings per share, and our stock repurchase in 17 brought our earnings per share back up. Our global market share began small, but with our bids and upgrades in year 15, we were able to capture a large market share, and through decreasing our price, we're able to gain a little more in 17. In year 16, we did experience a stock out, but we were able to regain it in 17 by lowering our prices, and in years 18 and 19, we found that other wholesalers were lowering their prices as well, so that hurt our market share globally. We did benefit in our global unit sales from our private label sales, especially in year 15, although it did cause a small stock out. In year 16, we had a detrimental stock out that affected all of our ratios and our stock prices, performance targets, and financial ratios. Our stock prices steadily increased and took a large spike with our increased production in 15. In year 16, it took a small dip because of that stock out, but we took advantage of the decrease in our stock price to buy back stock. So in year 17, our stock hit a new high, exceeding our year 15 high. In year 18, we experienced a smaller stock out, which affected our stock price significantly. And in year 19, it increased because of our increase in branded production and distribution versus our private label production. Our performance targets were met for the most part. The only thing that really threw them off were the stock out in 16 and the buyback in year 17, which really increased our return on equity, almost back to our projected levels. Because of these stockouts and buybacks, our stock price stayed above our projections, but it did take a small dip in year 16. Our credit rating, we were confident would continue to be an A+, considering that it had been A+ since year 14. And while we were nervous about our image rating, we were hoping that we could keep it at that level. From 76 to 80. We were confident in year 15 when we hit a 78 instead of our projected 76, although because of the stock out, it hurt our image and we had an image rating of only 76 as opposed to the 78 we were hoping. And as we were still recovering from that stock out, we had an image rating of only 79 of the 80 that we projected. Our main competitor, I would say, would be Company E, Happy Feet. Considering the fact that we were second place through most of the game, I feel that they were our most significant competitor. They obviously concentrated on increasing their SQ rating. Immediately from year 10 to 11, they were able to increase it to a 7, and through year 19, they had increased it up to a 9. They were able to achieve faster production by offering fewer models, and that carved out a large portion of market share. They also advertised heavily and started utilizing celebrities early on in the game. They started utilizing them in year 13, where we started utilizing them in 16. They started strong online, but it steadily decreased, although their wholesale is a different story. They expanded production early, which helped them avoid large stockouts like the one that we experienced. They steadily increased their price as their SQ rating went up. They specialized with the 50 models and advertised heavily. They also offered high rebates that were nearly double ours at $6 through most years. And they offered much larger amount of retailer support and delivery time. In their private sector, they had a very high SQ rating, therefore they had higher bid prices, but it wasn't really sustainable. The lessons we learned from the game and learned from our other teammates and from our competitors were to expand production quickly or risk losing customers to stockouts. We learned that. Reinvest, reinvest, reinvest. We kept way too much in cash. We should have been investing that into production, into upgrades, and into marketing and celebrities. I regret that we didn't increase dividends over time. We kept it at the standard $1, and that hurt our earnings per share as well as our return on equity. We could have offered more retailer support as well as utilizing more retail outlets. We could have offered higher rebates, especially in areas that our sales were suffering, in order to increase sales and garner brand loyalty. And we definitely should have acted more quickly in securing celebrity endorsements. In holding off until year 16, it really hurt us. Although it may have hurt us more if we'd started early without expanding production earlier. We would like to say thank you to Dr. Harris and to our competitors for this fantastic learning experience. And congratulations, Happy Feet. Y'all played it well and y'all deserve it.